Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here. Happy 2023. It's the beginning of a week. It's the beginning of a month. It's the beginning of a year. And it's the beginning of us trying to get to 3,000 people by the end of the year. I don't know. We don't actually need that. I love that we did our year in review, and it got me thinking. And what I wanted to do at the beginning of this year was I wanted to do like another form of like an update throwback deal. And this one goes out to my old friend, Joe Patton. He may or may not still watch the channel. Life drags people in different directions, but I wanted to let him know I'm still thinking of him with an update to his Speed Duel deck. So I hope that you guys love some insects, because he was a big fan of the Weevil Underwood deck. So that's what I'm going to have for you guys here today. And then, of course, we will choose a spotlight accordingly. And first things first, we need a skill. Which skill do we have? Well, you guys probably already saw the title card. And you guys know that I left it flipped like this. You guys have to wait another second or two. Because, you know, you guys were too smart and you always read the stuff beforehand last time. So when we activate this skill, we're going to flip it over. This is going to be the Cocoon of Ultra Evolution. It's going to have two very good effects. We can use either one of these effects during the main phase. Each of these skills can only be used once per duel, so use them accordingly. First skill, tribute an insect monster from either side of the field equipped with an equipped card. If you do, special summon one insect from the deck, ignoring conditions. Flip this over. Additionally, you can shuffle one insect monster from the graveyard back into the deck, draw one card, and then guess what? Flip this card over. And again, each one of these is a once per duel. But again, once per duel with this card is still pretty obnoxious. And you do get to use both. So as long as it's your main phase, I assume that you could just keep flipping it. Get both effects out in the same turn if you like. Entirely up to you, my friends. But good card, great card. Now, to complement Joe's more aggressive playstyle past mine, we need to make sure that we can, you know, be aggressive. So we are going to board 3 copies Breaker the Magical Warrior. So for those of you who may have crawled out from underneath your rock today and you don't know what Breaker does because you never played the game since Magician's Force on, when he's normal summoned, you get to place a spell counter on him. You can hold 1 at maximum. And what's he going to do with that spell counter? Well, once per turn during your turn, you can target a spell trap on the field to destroy it. It's not really once per turn, but like how often is Breaker going to have a counter? It depends on whether or not you're using like Pitch Black Power Stone or some of the other spell counter stuff that I don't think we have available to us in Speed Duel. So it's a little bit of a misnomer, I guess. Last time when we built this, we were looking for ways to out our opponent's monster cards. We're going to keep doing that today. So we used Santa Claus last time, which, again, you guys could totally use Santa Claus still. If you do plan on leaving the monster alone, it's fine. But if you want something that's a little more up-to-date, let's actually grab a Kaiju. So we'll run a single copy of Dahlgren. And then, again, based on the opponent's field, a lot of times our opponents will swarm now. So, like, 1 Dahlgren, 1 Lava Golem, or, you know, I think initially this was a Lava Golem and just 1 Santa Claus. That would be good as well. You could also just go double Dahlgren or double Santa Claus if you're worried about the attack stats. But once we get into our effects, it's not really going to matter so much. Going with Joe's bits, we were running the single Newdoria. So this guy's really cool because when this is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, we get to target a monster card on the field and destroy it. So again, this is another reason why we're not super worried about that Lava Golem. We're not worried that they're going to hit us with the 3K. We don't really need the chip 1,000 burn damage. We're going for our own OTK. And the biggest thing that's going to help us do this, and is a card that actually cost me like $4 a copy. So don't say I never update anything around the studio, was copies of Parasite Paranoid. And you guys, if you look at these, you'll notice these are not the same rarity as the ones Joe lent me like a year ago. They did have a comment. It was Speed Duel promos, tournament packs, whatever. And so yeah, now I've got 3 copies of the Parasite Paranoid. So let's really get into that effect. I probably should have done that the first time I picked it up. First off, really cool art. Loving it, digging it. He definitely looks like he'd be one of the Paleozoics if he was a little more ancient. Got some cool effects here. Quick effect. Targeted face-up monster card on the field. Equip this from the hand to the target. That monster becomes an insect, cannot attack insects, and its effects that activate by targeting an insect become negated. You can use this effect once per turn. And again, since it's a quick effect, you could kind of do that during your opponent's end phase, set one, and then during your own turn, bap another one over to your opponent's side of the field, and get some real good effects off this. Additionally, you can only use this, I already said that. If this equipped card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one level 7 or higher insect monster from your hand, ignoring the summoning conditions. So again, the Parasite Paranoid, not terrible, gonna do some work. But again, we can go ahead, we can equip it to an opponent's monster, off it for the Dahlgren. And in that exchange, this is gonna go, we'll be able to summon Big Daddy Bug. And Big Daddy Bug in this deck is the perfectly ultimate Great Moth. And again, we want to run 2. And I think the concept here is pretty simple. We do have a draw in the form of the Cocoon of Ultra Evolution. I'm also packing some Allures of Darkness. So card picking shouldn't be that big of an issue as long as we only end up with one of them. Because the goal here is to actually, if we can, off one of our opponent's monster cards with one of our offloaders here. So this way, when we do the Cocoon of Ultra Evolution, we can equip that monster, change it to an insect, tribute it, get one from the deck, and then get the other one from the hand through the Parasite Paranoids effect. So it's really just trying to stack and duplicate effects. Normally, to play this thing, you would need to special summon it from the hand by attributing a Petite Moth on your side of the field 6 turns or later after it was equipped with a Cocoon of Evolution. So for all the people who play like D&D, like bust out at least a D6 and I guess use it as a counter. That'd be fine. And it just, it's the boss monster. Like legit, we just want to play 2 copies of the Moth. We want to have Twin Swingers at 3,500. And again, this outclasses Dahlgren. This outclasses the Lava Golem. And if you guys were running the Santa Claus, it would outclass Santa Claus as well. I want to say Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth is going to be second-ish in power from the main deck as printed. And I want to say it's only second to like Obelisk. I don't think we have anything else that gets into that attack range. You know what? I might be wrong. Let's say he's third because of Gate Guardian. Gate Guardian did get a release recently. So last up in the monsters, we are going to be running 3 Sphere Karibos. A couple of reasons. Number 1, we like it. 2, Joe loved it. 3, he's bald, so am I. Love it. But he's going to activate as a spell for us. He's going to activate as like a little interrupt. Whenever the opponent declares an attack, you can send this from the hand to the graveyard. And then you get to do like the second effect of Enemy Controller, where you just change the battle position, moving that attacking monster into defense mode. We don't need to read the rest of the card because we are not playing rituals with this one. Instead, the last reason is he's also going to be a buffer for Allure of Darkness. Now, initially, my buddy was playing 3 Allures and like 3 Night Beams, which was good then. It was good then. But the big problem with running 3s of spells right now is going to be the absolute concentrated hate that is the Cursed Seal of the Forbidden Spell, which is something I'm always telling people. Like, this is a good card. It's a great card. Look out for it. It's going to do some stuff. And, you know, again, even with the Allure, it would cripple our draw power to lean into it too much right now. But again, you do have like 7 targets. You've got your 3 Spheres, your 3 Breakers, and your Newdoria. So you do have 7 targets for 2 spells. This is, I think, an appropriate like ratio. But again, it allows us to card pick and try to get into our Perfectly Ultimate Moth. And then instead of playing 3 Night Beams, I wanted to break that up into a Cosmic Cyclone and a Night Beam. Again, both forms of back row hate. Same thing with Breaker, so I really have 5 interactions with the opponent back row. And then again, we're in the GX era, and this wasn't something that we had to worry about at that time period when we introduced this deck like a year ago. So we are, of course, going to be running 2 copies of Lost Wind, because even though the Perfectly Ultimate Great Moth is perfectly ultimate and great, he's still not strong enough to beat a lot of extra deck cards. And again, with the way that you could just, like, you know, Flame Wing Main OTK, Flame Wing Main could get pretty close to actually destroying him with giving him a fusion weapon, especially if you could set up a fusion weapon and Skyscraper. So again, we want to not fall victim to that. So again, Lost Wind, it'll help take away special summon monster effects. It'll take away their half their attack value, their original attack value. And then again, if they play something out of their extra deck, we are in a fusion era. Moving forward, of course, Lost Wind is going to be a more and more valuable trap card. And then, of course, you could just set it back from the discard pile at that point. So, here's the main deck. This is 20 cards. Either pause and take the notes, or maybe the screenshot, depending on your device. And I'll be right back with the extra and side decks. So, un momento. All right, starting out the extra deck, and again, you guys can amend. You can amend the whole thing if you guys like, because you know what I do. I do want to play one Blue Eyes Ultimate again. This time, it's not as much a threat as it was last time. I talked about Waking the Dragon last time. I worked it in this time, but again, I wanted to have the strongest fusion monster in my extra deck. So again, we got one copy of the Blue Eyes. I do want to get the Cyberblader in here because again, the Cyberblader is one of the technically best cards. And you know what? It's been a minute since we talked about her. So let's go over her effects. They happen when she is facing 1, 2, or 3 opponents. When 1 cannot be destroyed by battle. When 2, attack is doubled. When 3, the opponent's activated card effects are negate. So again, Cyberblader, she's my top girl right now. Top character with Crush is going to be the Cyber End Dragon. For those of you who can't afford Blue Eyes Ultimate and are waiting for a reprint like I am, because again, I think that was too much to pay for those. Master of Oz, 4,200. Still outclasses every other fusion monster card. Oja King, because again, you can lock down the opponent's side of the field. And of course, T Restrict. You guys got to play Thousand Eyes Restrict. He's just good. Buy him as a single if you need to, but he's worth the invest. Going into the side deck, I did want to have a second Cosmic Cyclone because I don't like leaving home without 2. Definitely wanted to pack my third Lost Wind. Definitely wanted to get some Waking the Dragons in there. I did think a Wall of Disruption would be fun. And I almost thought about doubling it up but I was like right at the end of the side deck. And like the main thing is just like, it's like, what if we have Breaker or, you know, they do something to try to outclass the Moth. Like, I'm not running my Books of Moon like I normally do. So, like, the Wall of Disruption makes a little bit of sense. Plus, I don't really see Jinzo affecting this deck too much because there's just so many ways to out him. And then, of course, because of that, I was in the... I almost played a second Wall of Disruption instead of the Zoma. But again, I went with the Zoma because, you know, it's Zoma. Good card, great card. Guys, I do hope that you enjoyed this. Again... hope that you guys enjoyed our wrap-up video yesterday, or I guess I should say last year. And I hope that you guys are looking forward to another year of fun videos and lots of casual content. So until we get to the Speed Duel Spotlight, I want you guys to promise me one thing. I'm not going to talk about the subs, dubs, whatever. Guys, go out and have a wonderful day. Start this year off proper. Enjoy yourselves. And remember, it's all about manifesting your destiny. If you want something this year, you got to work toward it. You know, opportunity might knock at your door, but remember, it's just a little knock. You might not hear it. It might not sound like much, but you got to figure it out. You got to find it. You got to pursue it. So, guys, I wish the best for you. And I hope to see you guys again later with the Spotlight. So, peace.